大家好, my name is Kira and welcome to Moonlight Mandarin. Today I would like to talk to you about how we should learn the Chinese language in 2024. You might ask, what is the difference in how we used to learn Chinese and how we should learn the Chinese language in the new year? Well, I can tell you that I have been with the Chinese language for 12 years already, and up to this moment, there are many more effective methods of learning Chinese, and I would like to share them with you. A lot of Chinese learners told me that they're having difficulties with remembering the Chinese vocabulary, and sometimes, even when it seems like they remembered it, they cannot recall it in the right time. Well, today I'm going to share with you my personal techniques, and hopefully, once you start using them, you will not only be able to memorize the words effectively, but also start using them in your speech. Let's begin. The first question is, where to find the new vocabulary to learn? If you are taking personal lessons, you can ask your teacher to provide you with the list of vocabulary for your level. Or maybe you're taking some notes during class, that's all good. I personally like reading. I like to read books, articles. I often watch some documentaries, listen to podcasts, and that's where I get my new vocabulary from. Once you gathered your vocabulary to learn, try not to overwhelm yourself. I always recommend students to remember from 5 to 10 words a day. Otherwise, if you learn too much, there is a great chance that you get burnt out and basically give up. I even think learning 5 words a day is already a great amount of words. Just imagine, if you consistently study 5 words a day, then in 7 days you will be able to know and recognize over 35 words. Now, as you have 5 words that you need to remember today, let's go to our first word. First, listen to the audio of this word. Try not to read the pinyin yet. I would use Pleco for this because Pleco is the best app to check the new vocabulary. Once you type in the character, or maybe you write the character, and then you can play the audio. I would play it a few times and try to recognize the tones by ear. Imagine that it's like a dictation. Try to write down this word on the paper. Try to write down what you heard. Did you get the tones correctly? Did you get the initials or finals correctly? And only after you've done that, check the pinyin. If you identified the tone, initial or final incorrectly, then it's great because we're learning from our mistakes. And once you've checked the correct writing of this pinyin, you will remember it better. Once you've done this first short listening practice, you can dive into the meaning of each character. Most of the Chinese words consist of 2 characters. And if you want to understand the meaning better, then you need to look into the meaning of each character. That is also why I like this Pleco app, because it will show you the meaning of each character, and you can even find more words that have this character. Why is it so important to understand the meaning of each character? Because Chinese words are like puzzles. We can combine different characters to get new words and get new meanings. For example, the verb 看, to look. 重要, important. There is a word 看重. 看重. When you look at something, you see something and you think it's important. 看重 means to value. Makes sense. Now, as you know the meanings of these characters, you need to learn what part of speech this word is. The most common parts of speech in the Chinese language are nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and so on. Why is it so important to understand what part of speech a certain word is? In the Chinese language, each word has its own place in a sentence, and it all depends on what part of speech it is. If you don't know what part of speech a certain word is, you probably won't be able to create a correct sentence. A lot of students often make mistakes when they talk about weather in Chinese, because different weather words in Chinese are different parts of speech, not like in English, hot, cold, sunny, raining. These are all adjectives. In Chinese, sunny is actually a noun, a sunny day, rainy, snowy, these are verbal phrases. Hot, cold are adjectives, and therefore the way we use them in a sentence is completely different. If I want to say that today is hot, I will say 今天很热. 热 is an adjective Therefore, I'm using a degree adverb 很. If I want to say that today is raining or it's snowing, then I will use the verbal phrase 下雨 or 下雪. 下雨,下雪. 今天下雨. We don't need to use any additional particles with the verb phrase. Therefore, I just say directly 今天下雨. If I want to say that today is sunny, as I told you before, sunny is a noun, 晴天,晴天. And with nouns, we need to use 是. Therefore, I will say 今天是晴天,今天是晴天. As you can see, all these sentences are formed differently and I use different grammar points. Therefore, I hope you understand the importance of understanding what part of speech a certain word is. Some words can be a noun or an adjective. Pleco app is also good for this. You can check the new word and you can check what part of speech it is, and if it's a noun, how it can be used as a noun. If it's also an adjective, you can also see how this word can be used as an adjective. Next, we need to create sentences with this new word. And here I would say that Pleco app isn't so good because they're using some outdated sentences that are not practical, and sometimes it seems to me like they're using the sentences taken from the documents or some really like political books. Therefore, I think that ChatGPT is the best option for creating new sentences. You can type, help me create 10 sentences using this word for level HSK4 or for level HSK5, or if you say level HSK3, then it will provide you with some simpler sentences. And I like simple sentences because then I can clearly see how this word can be used in everyday scenario. Then I would choose the sentences I like the most and type them in my notes. I like to keep my new vocabulary list with all these examples in my iPhone notes because it's very handy when I have a break, when I have a few free minutes, then I would just go through my vocabulary and review them. Well, this is not it. There is still the most important part. And the most important part is start using these words in the context. I actually like to connect these 5 words that I needed to remember that day in one paragraph. How I would do it, I would actually talk to myself a lot. I do it every day. My family members are already used to it. And I know this might sound weird for some people that don't talk to themselves, but if you have any friends that are bilingual, trilingual, that are really good at the second language, you can ask them and they will tell you that this is a common practice of talking to yourself. I would actually create a context of where I might use these words, in what kind of conversation, and then I would have this conversation with myself. I would usually record myself having a conversation with myself, and then I would listen to it. Some people don't like listening to their own voice. Me too, I didn't like that at the beginning, but I don't know how this works. But once you listen to yourself pronouncing these new words, magic happens. You remember these words. I can actually talk about this for a long time, but our time is limited. All I want to tell you is try not to learn the vocabulary silently. Some people just check the pinyin and then start writing the words, and this is not effective, and there is lower chance that you will actually use this word in your speech. These are my favorite techniques of learning the new vocabulary. I hope you tried, and please let me know if it also worked for you. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and if you're watching us for the first time, please follow us and we will come up with more videos in the new year. 好，那我们下次见，拜拜。